Welcome everyone to another edition of Making It Impact. I am your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. Okay, we just came off of Lethal Lockdown, or Lockdown altogether, which included Lethal Lockdown, where we saw Team Angle, Kurt Angle, Austin Aries, Gunner, and the surprise fourth man, Bobby Roode, defeat the Beatdown Clan, MVP, Low-Key, Kenny King, and Samoa Joe. We also saw Jeff Hardy take a tremendous fall after their tag team title match against the TNA Tag Team champions, Cowboy James Storm and Abyss. Also, we saw the two dominant knockouts in the Knockouts division, Awesome Kong and Havoc, go one-on-one, which saw Awesome Kong leave in victory, and a lot of things. And tonight is the first of several tapings from the UK tour, this one in Glasgow, Scotland, and it is going to be interesting to see. We've got Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries in a match that's going to sure to blow the roof off. Also in action, we have a handicap tag team match. EC3 and Tyrus taking on the tag team of Mark Andrews, Rockstar Spud, and Jeremy Borach. And Matt Hardy is going to give us an update on the on his brother Jeff Hardy's status, and much more. And we're going to get to it right now. Okay, we started off tonight's Impact Wrestling with Kurt Angle coming out to the ring. He talked about his team's win at Lethal Lockdown last week. Also talked about being a winner, his multiple world title reigns. Of course, he's referencing his time in WWE. Also being a 5-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Also being in the TNA Hall of Fame and being an Olympic gold medalist. But he thanks Gunner, Aries for their help last week in defeating the Beatdown Clan. He calls out Bobby Lashley and thanks Bobby Lashley for his help. And Bobby Lashley makes it clear, hey, I wasn't doing it for you. I was doing it to just get back at MVP and the Beatdown Clan. Kurt Angle says, no, that's fine and good, because I want to make something clear. I want to be TNA World Heavyweight Champion once more again, and I'm coming after you. Beatdown Clan comes down. MVP makes a big stink about Bobby Lashley coming out last week during the match of Lethal Lockdown and says that didn't happen. He didn't get pinned because Bobby Lashley was not legal in the match. So Bobby Lashley says, hey, why don't we just have a tag team match tonight? Any two of you against me and a partner of mine, Kurt Angle. So we got our main event match for tonight. Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley, excuse me, versus two members of the Beatdown Clan. Who will it be? Got a lot of possible combinations there. King and Samoa Joe. Low-Key and MVP. You've got Kenny King and Low-Key. Low-Key and Samoa Joe. King and MVP. Or MVP and Low-Key. Or MVP and Samoa Joe. You got so many combinations there. So that's going to be our main event for tonight. So the crowd was really behind Kurt Angle. He's a fan favorite there, getting a huge pop there in the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. So I think the crowds, I have to say, crowd's pretty big. TNA always does good on their UK tours. It's very smart of them to do their TV tapings while they're there. They got to go overseas anyway. They got haul equipment over there, so they might as well just go ahead and film over there. And it's pretty sold out. big crowd. They do really good there, so it's a good thing that they do TV tapings there. So something that Raw does, but they WWE does, but they don't. They do it sporadically. But this is, you know, January. You can count January. Every January, TNA is coming to the UK, so the UK really looks forward to that. Okay, we have our first match of the night. Bobby Lashley, the It Factor, and the #1 contender to the TNA World Heavyweight title, taking on the greatest man that ever lived and the holder of the 2015 Feast or Fired World Heavyweight title shot briefcase, Austin Aries. And as anybody who's a TNA fan knows, these guys can put on one hell of a match. We all know their great match in 2012 when Bobby Roode defended the TNA World Heavyweight title against Austin Aries. We all know the scenario. Austin Aries was the TNA X Division champion, the longest reigning TNA X Division champion at the time, and still is that reign. Austin Aries vacated the title to get a title shot against Bobby Roode at Destination X in 2012. Needless to say that we have one hell of a match, and Aries ended Bobby Roode's first title reign and marking it as the longest title reign and World Heavyweight title reign in TNA history. It's a mouthful. Back to this match though. Oh man, it started out hands to hands. They were trading moves per move, catch can wrestling. I mean, it was really quick and good. Bobby Roode would try to go for the Roode bomb. Aries would block it. Aries tried it one time to go for a brainbuster, but Roode blocked it. Roode got Aries into the crossface, but Aries was able to counter it. Aries, after coming in with a springboard swat off the ropes and then hitting a elbow, then went in and locked in the last chancery on Roode, but Roode was able to get out of that. They went back and forth. There was a nice spine buster by Roode, a nice distance forearm by Aries, which sent Roode to the outside of the ring. Now this is where the match dynamics really change. Aries goes for a suicide dive. He misses, and he goes left arm first into the guardrail. And from this point, it's all in the driver's seat for Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode works on Aries for a few minutes, and then he locks in the crossface. Aries struggles to get out of it. He's able to roll Roode onto his back, but Roode uses the momentum, rolls it back through, keeps the crossface locked in. He forces Aries to tap. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Roode is your winner. Great match. Oh, one other move I forgot to talk about, the Aries hit that was pretty damn awesome. Roode was going to go for a suplex off the top rope. Aries blocked it by doing the to the ears and knocked him off of the top rope. And then Aries has measured Roode, allowed him to get up and hit the missile drop kick from the top rope. Pretty good move. But nevertheless, Roode was able to get the win by submission with the crossface. After the match, Roode's celebrating, making it perfectly clear that he's coming after the TNA World Heavyweight title until he is attacked viciously by Eric Young, not happy that he lost last week to Bobby Roode inside the steel cage, and he nails a vicious pile driver on Bobby Roode, leaving Bobby Roode laying, and then, to make matters worse and the more sadistically, spits on Bobby Roode. Something that we were informed during this match is that next week there will be a 20-man gauntlet match to determine who will face Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight title. because of Eric Young's vicious attack, it was announced later in the night that Bobby Roode will not be in the 20-man gauntlet match. Also, it's cost him his #1 contendership, as he is no longer considered the #1 contender to the TNA World Heavyweight title. The TNA Top 5 rankings were given out this morning, and Bobby Roode is knocked out of the top 5 list. Later in the show, I will give you the full rundown of who the top 5 is, because it really matters, because the top 5 will be the last 5 men to enter the gauntlet match, with the #1 contender in the top 5 list being man 20 in the match. So that's huge, and we'll talk about that and who that is later in the show. Okay, we came back. We got a replay of the attack, Eric Young's vicious attack on Bobby Roode. Then we went to the ring where Al Snow was in the ring. And, damn, Al, what's up with the beard? It makes you look older, man. Shave it, dude. But nevertheless, as you don't know, Al Snow, who in reality he is the head producer for TNA. And he's also been a trainer for several years. Basically was coming down to talk smack about one of the British Boot Camp 2 contestants, Grado. Now, I have no clue who Grado is, but obviously he's huge in the UK, and that's a given. So that explains why they're doing this segment, because it had to be explained for us US fans, because I mean, I'm like, who the hell is this little bitch? Anyway, supposedly Al Snow has a big gripe with him. Al Snow doesn't think that Grado should be a wrestler. He doesn't think he respects the business. Al Snow talks about how he's been in the business for over, let's see, he said 30 years. I believe Al Snow started 85 wrestling. Wow, do I not feel old? And he talks about all the great, he talks about being a trainer. And Al Snow is pretty damn good. He's if you didn't know, he was the head guy for Tough Enough a couple of years when Tough Enough first started out. But anyway, Grado comes down, gets in his face. They, do the little batter back and forth, and then they point the cameras to Grado's mom, who, in full support of her son, has "I'm Grado's Ma" t-shirt. They spell Ma in, I guess in Scotland, as M-A-W. Don't ask me why. Hey, it's a Scottish thing, I guess. Who knows? It's a UK thing, right? Anyway, nevertheless, Al Snow gets in her face, and she starts swinging at Al, and Al's pissed off. And Al says, the only way I'm never going to respect you. You can't beat me. If you beat me, I'll shake your hand. Blah 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 blah." Nevertheless, if you're a U.S. fan, not a big deal if you miss this segment. If you're a UK fan, I know you guys are eating it up. You have to forgive us U.S. fans, because we haven't seen British Boot Camp. You guys get to see it, you get to enjoy it, but we don't. So it's like Explosion. You guys get to see Explosion, we don't. So, and that's another gripe. If they're going to do Explosion, why didn't they get Destination America to air Explosion in correlation with Impact Wrestling instead of doing Impact Unlocked, which, in case you didn't know, Impact Unlocked is just basically a repeat of Impact Wrestling, except it's got nice little trivia facts. It's like if you ever watch pop-up video, the video plays and they pop up these little trivia things. That's basically what Unlocked is, with the exception of there's an exclusive interview that Mike Today does that's inserted in. So, But nevertheless, I guess next week we get Grado versus Al Snow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, we had, believe it or not, Bram versus Crazy Steve. Okay, and there's not much to go into this match because this was a squash match, pure and simple. Crazy Steve got a little offense in. He was able to bite Bram's nose, got a little offense in, but Bram just totally dominated him. At one point in the match, Bram goes out, gets the mic, screaming for Magnus. Where are you, Magnus? Come out here. I want to fight you. I'm here. Come here, Magnus. Basically, squash match with Bram getting the win with a, it looked like an impaler DDT to me, or a variation of a spike DDT, but it was pretty damn good, devastating move. It took out Crazy Steve and your winner, Bram. The big thing is Bram's being built, is dominating. He wants to get his hands on Magnus, and it should be an interesting feud. Like I said last week, you know, a little while back, it didn't make sense to me for them to split Bram and Magnus, but it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I'm anticipating a big debut, a important person who will be inserting his or herself into the mix of the Bram Magnus scenario, so I can't wait for that. So we'll just have to wait and see. Bottom line is, if you missed this segment, it's not a big deal. They wanted to put Bram over. Bram's a UK star. They want to put him over, but I don't know. This could have been a dark match to me. It didn't need to be on TV, but that's just my opinion. Okay, we had a handicap tag team match. Tyrus and EC3 take it on the tag team of Rockstar Spud, Mark Andrews, and Jeremy Borach. Spud and Andrews tried taking out Tyrus at the beginning of the match, but they couldn't get the job done. For whatever reason, out of his mind, Jeremy Borach comes in. EC3 has Tyrus tag him in. He goes to swing at Borach, who blocks, and then he unloads onto EC3, but it's not for long. EC3 comes back, and they can control the match some. Good tag team outage for Andrews and Spud. At one point where Andrews was being dominated by EC3, he hits a nice enziguri, gets the tag to Rockstar Spud. Spud's in. He goes to town on EC3. Tyrus tries to come in and interfere, but then Spud hits a nice springboard cutter off the top rope. He's able to take out Tyrus, who rolls out to the outside of the ring. Jeremy Borach, what are you thinking, my friend? I give you like the holy shit moment of the night. Jeremy Borach, who's not a wrestler by any sense of the stretch of the imagination, comes off the top rope with some kind of a splash, hits his head on Tyrus's head, and takes out Tyrus, but takes himself out. While all this is going on, EC3 gets back his momentum, hits the 1%er on Rockstar Spud. 1, 2, 3, Tyrus and EC3 are your winners. Well, with Andrews and Borach taken out, EC3 is ready to shave Rockstar Spud's head, and this time ain't nobody stopping him because he's got cordless shears. Wrong. The lights go out. Who do we have standing between EC3 and Tyrus? Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson sits there and listens to him. He takes out EC3, Lobos, Tyrus. They bail, and it looks like we're going to be seeing Mr. Anderson now in this mix of this feud, which it's better that he takes the spot of Jeremy Borach than Jeremy Borach continuing trying to wrestle. UK fans loved this match. They were really into it. It was two of their home guys. And so it's a good way to put it over Andrews and Spud, even though they didn't win. Remember now, don't forget, Rockstar Spud is the holder of the 2015 Feast or Fired TNA X Division title shot briefcase. He can cash that in at any time, so who knows? He might cash it in on Loki, who is the current TNA X Division champion during the UK tour. We'll just have to wait and see. I still think Rockstar Spud and Andrews' best bet is either stay in the X Division or Tag Team Division. I'm gaining a little more and more respect for Rockstar Spud. This is the way he should have been booked and portrayed when he first entered the company and such, because it's hard to get that image of him out of his head. Now, if he could just lose that goddamn bow tie, we'd all be good. And by the way, you're in the UK, Rockstar Spud, so it's okay for me to say this, and the UK fans out there will get this reference. The 11th Doctor called and wants his bow tie back. Thank you very much. So. Okay, we had Madison Rayne out in the ring talking how she is the queen bee of the Knockouts division and that she's going to become a regular time 6 times Knockouts champion. I guess Madison forgets a little history here, but right now Angelina Love has the most reigns as Knockouts champion with a total of 6. That would make her tie if she was to get the title back, which is currently held by the lovely Taryn Terrell, but I digress. Madison talks about there's not a knockout can beat her, that she's, she's dominant and blah, blah, blah. And every time that she's trying to talk, there's the dun, 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 dun. Well, if you know anything, you know who it is. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yep, that's right. Awesome Kong made her way to the ring. Yep, she's going one-on-one with Madison Rayne. And Awesome Kong, as you know, dominated Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne was able to get some offense back in, and he took Awesome Kong down to her feet when Awesome Kong missed a splash and was able to get some quick furry offense in to take Kong down to her feet. Tried for a pin, but Kong gets out. Kong comes back dominating. Hits the implant buster. 1, 2, 3. Sayonara, Madison Rayne. But Awesome Kong is your winner. Awesome Kong, it looks like she's going to try to make a run for the TNA title, TNA Knockouts title, which would be interesting. Currently held by Taryn Terrell. So let's break it down who we have currently in the Knockouts division. You have Angelina Love, who is a 6-time TNA Knockouts champion. You have Brooke Tessmacher, or Brooke, take your preference. She is a 2-time former TNA Knockouts champion. Madison Rayne, as I just said, is a 5 times TNA Knockouts champion. Can't forget Gail Kim, a former 4-time TNA's Knockout champion, and has her second title reign, if I'm not mistaken, is her longest title reign, and it's the longest title reign in TNA history. Okay. Havoc is also a former TNA Knockouts champion. Rebel has never held the title. Awesome Kong is a former 2-time TNA's Knockouts champion, and a certain individual who will be returning as a former 3-time Knockouts champion, but I'm not going to reveal who that is. But nevertheless, it looks like Awesome Kong is going to try to make a run for that title. So Taryn Terrell, all I can say is, beware, Kong is coming for you. Okay, we had Matt Hardy come down to the ring to give us a update on Jeff. He talked about how when Jeff's ever been down, that he's always knew his brother's okay. His brother had that spark in him. He would just say, "I'm fine, bro. I'm fine, Matt." And he said last week he didn't see that. He said, he said, "Are you satisfied, Storm? You've done something that no other wrestler has been able to do." Right on cue. Somebody's going to put you down, because here comes the Revolution, led by the Cowboy James Storm. You had Manic, the Great Sonata, Abyss, Soikai. They all come down to the ring, and James Storm talks about how he's done what Edge and Christian couldn't do, what Team 3D couldn't do, what even the Undertaker couldn't do. That he took out Jeff Hardy and deprived these fans in the UK of him. And he tells, and he talks about how superheroes needs villains. And he says, "In my storybook, the hero never wins." He then proceeds to tell Matt Hardy he has two options: either put that one finger up and join the Revolution, or wind up in the hospital next to his brother Jeff. Matt says, "Oh, what?" He says, "Well, you know what? Jeff does have a pretty nice bed. He has a pretty nice hospital room," and starts to go after James Storm. But nevertheless, the numbers are against him. Matt Hardy gets the beat down until the Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, comes to Matt Hardy's assistance, and they're able to drive the Revolution away. So, does this mean that the Wolves will find themselves in the tag team title hunt and get a possible tag team title shot against Storm and Abyss, now that the Hardys are out of the title picture right now? That's an interesting question. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But in case you didn't know, in reality, the reason why this whole injury angle went on with Jeff Hardy is because Jeff Hardy is not allowed to travel to the UK due to a felony conviction he has, a felony drug conviction. So he's not allowed to travel to the UK. So this was this is the storyline reason why he's not there in the UK. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Especially let's see if the Wolves are going to get a TNA Tag Team title shot. Okay, we had our main event of the night. Bobby Lashley and Kurt Angle taking on two members of the Beatdown Clan, which turned out to be MVP and Samoa Joe, with Kenny King and Loki by ringside. Match started off with Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle first. Good match. The beginning of the match was going back and forth until they were able, until MVP and Joe were able to isolate Lashley. They kept him in check until Lashley was able to hit a net breaker. He got Angle tagged in. Angle comes in. He hits a German suplex on MVP and Samoa Joe, and then hits an Angle slam on Joe. The action was good, fast and paced. About a 12-minute match, roughly, going back and forth. I think the big thing is that toward the end of the match, of course, you had the classic interference, low-key messing with Kurt Angle while the referee was distracted. But I think the big thing was toward the end of the match where Joe got the tag to MVP while Angle got the tag to Lashley. Lashley and MVP goes at it for a little bit. Lashley comes in, he hits a spear, then he hits a Dominator, goes for a pin attempt. Joe comes in and he breaks it up. Angle comes in, he knocks out Joe. They fight a little bit on the outside ring. Joe comes back in. Angle comes in, locks in the angle lock right as Lashley was going to go for a spear. Joe flips Angle toward Lashley. Lashley avoids Angle. Angle goes into the ring post. But all this distraction going on allows MVP to roll up Lashley to get the 1, 2, 3, and your winners Samoa Joe and MVP. After the match, Lashley and Angle argued, and as Impact Wrestling went off the air, quite interesting things. And of course, you know, this is standard. Whenever you have a face champion and a face challenger, they want to, you know, get some animosity between the two. Also, MVP pins Lashley. That should put MVP in line for a title shot. He pinned the champ. So we'll have to just wait and see what's going to happen. Not a bad match. If you missed it, you can catch it on, you know, highlight clips. You don't gotta watch the whole match, but nevertheless, it was a good match and such. But it's gonna be interesting to see it going into the Twin-Man Gauntlet match next week. How placed the Beatdown Clown will be in the Twin-Man Gauntlet match, and where Kurt Angle will be also in that. I'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But first, our Superstars of the Week. Okay, as I said, as you just saw, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Superstars of the Week. No doubt about it, they had the best match of the night. And it, in my mind, it was the match that, you know, was, you know, it was the best match of the night, bar none. Okay, I talked about this, the 20-man gauntlet match. Every Saturday morning, TNA puts out the top 5 contenders list. And this is revealed always during TNA Impact Unlocked. And that was revealed this morning. And at number 5 is still EC3. Number 4, Samoa Joe. Number 3, your TNA X Division champion, Loki. At number 2, MVP. And the man at number 1, who will enter as number 20 in the Twin-Man Gauntlet match, Kurt Angle. Bobby Roode out of the top 5 list due to his injury with Eric Young. I'm sure this is just storyline. He's not really injured, but still, going to be interested to see what's going to happen and who's going to get that title shot against Bobby Lashley. We'll find out next week. 2 key things. Bram come out looking strong tonight, and so did Awesome Kong. Bram looking for his confrontation with Magnus, while it looks like Awesome Kong is trying to make her way toward the TNA Knockouts Tag Team title. That's an important thing. We see Mr. Anderson intermix himself in the feud between Rockstar Spud and EC3. Next week we'll see Grado take on Al Snow. I'm sorry, UK fans. I'm on Al Snow's team. I'm an Al Snow guy. You gotta understand, I've watched Al Snow since his independence days when he wrestled in Smoky Mountain Wrestling as Sensational Al Snow. Throw a little tidbit of tribute here. Al Snow was one half of the Smoky Mountain Tag Team champions, along with his tag team partner, the Unabomb, aka, as you may know him today, as WWE Superstar Kane. So, throwing that little knowledge at you. But hopefully next week, match-wise, the show will be better. But I think one of the key elements that it makes the show, whether it's a great show or not, is the fans. Are the fans really getting into what they're seeing? And in the UK, they were, and that's all that matters. Like I said, you can see that it was pretty stacked. The facility was pretty, I don't know if it was sold out, but let's put it this way, it was packed. And they had a lot of fans there, and that's good for TNA. So next week, I think it's going to be another. Next week's episode will also be from the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. So it's going to be great to see. Can't wait for the 20-man tag team match. And does that mystery person I keep talking about, does he or her make her return his or her return next week? Don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Also, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. I'll remind you guys next week, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. The weekend of the 27th edition of Impact Wrestling, there will be no Making an Impact YouTube show that weekend. I am attending the Pensacon comic book sci-fi convention in Pensacola, Florida. A lot of celebrities will be there, including WWE superstars, or let me rephrase it, WWE legends, Sergeant Slaughter, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! Will be there. And a lot of sci-fi, icons will be there. The great Nichelle Nichols. Now, if you've lived in a closet and don't know who I'm talking about the original Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek, the original series. Also, I'm looking forward to that. Maria Sturz, Deanna Troi from Star Trek Deep Space Nine will also be there. The Sixth Doctor, you UK fans know who I'm talking about. Colin Baker will be there too. A lot of other great celebrities. I'm just really psyched, looking forward to this. So that's the reason why there will not be a Making an Impact YouTube show that weekend. I'll remind you guys next week, just so you guys remember, okay? So that's it for this week's edition of Making an Impact. I'm hoping that the graphics come out good this week. I'm still playing around with the lighting, and we're trying to get things, hammered out. This is a work in progress. Please, I appreciate you guys' patience. It's just, it takes a lot of time and effort to do the lighting and then doing the effects, and it has to be perfect, and sometimes it doesn't work out. So it's a work in progress. We're trying to make things work, but we're in HD, so that's one big improvement that we've made. And we've had the audio and video sync issues have been resolved. So those are two things that we definitely took care of. So again, I appreciate you guys' support. Okay, it's plug time. Don't forget, every Tuesday, check me out on Nerdport Network, Blog Talk Radio, The Wrestling Debate. Myself, John P. Mayer, Sean the Shark Williams, Andrew B., Jaime, Stat Boy. We're always on there. This week, the special co-hosts will be Sean the Shark Williams, along with myself. Sean and John had a bet as to who could get the most correct predictions for this past week's NXT Live special, NXT TakeOver Rivals. Sean won 5-1 over John's record of 4-1. John and I were tied 4-1. 4-2, excuse me. We both went 4-2. So, nevertheless, so join us every Tuesday at the Wrestling Debate. Also, speaking about my friend John P. Barry, yes, he does. He has his finger on the pulse of independent wrestling, especially Pro Wrestling Syndicate in the New Jersey area. And he always has some great interviews with independent wrestlers and independent promoters. You guys check it out. An independent point of view. It's on the Nerdport Network via Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday night. So you got to check it out. You can check out the Nerdport Network's Facebook page for the exact times of the independent point of view. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Making an Impact. I have been your host, Simply Sensational Billy James, and I will catch you all next week.